where I lived and what I lived for. Listen to this. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. Wow, so there's so much inspiration here in Walden. Live life. Don't get to the end of your life and look back on it with regret and say, gosh, I wish I had lived a good life. I wish I would have lived my life. So this is why Thoreau went to the woods. What he went to the woods for was to live life deliberately, make it a purposeful action. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of the life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close and drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. If you imagine a bone, right, that's the metaphor Thoreau's working with, is cracking a bone, and then you get to the marrow at the very center and the core of the bone. That's what Thoreau is going to the woods for, is to strip away everything. Now, our life is frittered away by detail. An honest man has hardly need to count more than his 10 fingers, or in extreme cases, he may add his 10 toes and lump the rest. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. I say let your affairs be as 2 or 3 and not 100 or 1,000. Simplicity, simplicity, simplicity. That, believe it or not, is the root of one of my favorite quotes here, which I have up in my office. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. That's from Steve Jobs. Guess where he got that from? Walden. He got that from Henry David Thoreau. So each time you touch your iPhone or your iPad or your iMac, any Apple product, simplicity. It's so easy to use. It's intuitive. Walden inspired Steve Jobs. Keep it simple. Because if things get too complicated, that's what Thoreau is saying here. When life gets too complicated, then it gets in the way of itself. So what did he go to the woods for? To strip away those things that he recognized within himself that was keeping him from living the full life that he knew he wanted to experience. And a little bit further, towards the end of this chapter, chapter 2, let us spend one day as deliberately as nature. Now, you'll notice that nature there is capitalized. So this gives us an opportunity to kind of reflect upon the pathway that we've been on here in American Lit. We started with the Puritans, right? What did they capitalize? God, right? Bible, right? Why? Those are the things that they held in reverence, right? They looked to God as the ultimate, the source of inspiration. They read Scripture for inspiration, revelation, to encounter the divine. Then we moved to the Federals. What happened? We moved from Orthodox Christianity to deism. So with the Federals, during the Enlightenment, remember neoclassicism, they viewed they could get into contact with the divine, learn more about God by studying science. And now in Romanticism with the Transcendentalists, they're moving away from that viewpoint, moving away from science to things that are within us, right? So now, nature is capitalized because for the Transcendentalists, we can go outside and come into contact with God. The divine is found outside in nature. Now, chapter 2, the closing paragraph at the very front, the very first sentence, there is some transcendentalist philosophy woven in here. Let's see if you caught it. Time is but the stream I go a-fishing in. I drink at it, but while I drink, I see the sandy bottom and detect how shallow it is. Its thin current slides away, but eternity remains. I would drink deeper, fish in the sky, whose bottom is pebbly with stars. Did you catch that? Right? So now we have kind of a melting away of the literal as Thoreau comes into contact with the sublime. So remember, just like with Emerson, nature is the catalyst for the sublime. So Thoreau is out there in nature by Walden Pond, and he looks at the stream. And when he's looking at the stream, right, the surface of the stream is reflective, and at the same time, it's transparent. So when he's looking at the stream, he can see all the things in the stream, such as the fish, as well as the stream bottom, which has pebbles. And at the same time, it's reflecting the sky. And he can see himself, all of this going on, juxtaposed, all at the same time. So what does he see? Fish in the sky. How'd the fish get in the sky, Henry David? Because they're in the stream. And the bottom of the stream is pebbly with stars. This is transcendentalism. This is when we have those moments that free ourselves from the space-time continuum, where we separate. And that's why this paragraph begins how? Time is but the stream I go a-fishing in. Wow. Stream, time, the water, the reflection, all of this is part of this transcendental moment, this transcendental experience, sublimity, that Thoreau is seeking and has found in the woods. So this is why Thoreau has gone to the woods. And in the next lecture, we have to conclude our all too brief look into Walden.